right. Welcome to episode 3. Today, the topic of discussion is going to be DC shows in the TV universe. My name is Henry.
I'm Richard.
And I'm Mike.
So I know currently the Flash TV show is on hiatus and Arrow as well. Mm-hmm. And Legends of Tomorrow still has new episodes.
Yes.
So we're going to just kind of talk about... let's start with Flash because it really ended on a wow moment. So hopefully by now people have had a chance to catch up to that episode. But if not, spoiler alert.
Yeah, if you forgive my
bad.
Chris Hardwick moments, spoilers coming in 3, 2, 1. Now it's your fault.
That's right.
Yeah.
So should we talk about the fight first or the big reveal? Let's save the reveal for last. I think let's talk about...
Or do you want to do like an overview of where we are before we get to that episode? Or how do you want to do this?
I don't think... I think hopefully by now people will already be up to date, I think. So let's talk about...
If not, pause right here. Go watch the entirety of the series.
Totally.
Do yourself that favor. And then come right back and watch our video, please.
Right. So I think let's talk about the awesomeness of King Shark. So I know he was first... introduced in those last couple of seconds in another episode where Patty shot him.
Yes.
And he was going to be character never going to be referenced
Harrison
again.
Wells shot him.
That's right.
Well,
but she shot him.
But yeah.
Harrison Wells.
He incapacitated him.
He was too expensive, and so he was going to be
He was a one-off.
One-off character, but there was a fan demand, and they brought him back for a whole episode for himself. So let's kind of talk about King Shark and Pants. Richard? What are your thoughts on King Shark?
Well, just the Flash in general keeps just being just a fun comic book show. I love that week after week on all the DC shows we get names of characters that we are familiar with from the comics, and that's the one thing that I can never just glow or gush or whatever you want to. That is one of my favorite things more than anything. Whether it comes out great or bad or in the middle, they're the attempt of putting all of these characters. I could probably name 20 different characters that they brought to all of the shows that from the comics. They're not really inventing anybody. These are all straight from the comics. King Shark is from the comics, then
there's definitely a lot of interaction between shows, between Arrow and Flash.
Well, in this episode, Diggle and his wife, Layla, apparently the King Shark breaks out of an Argus facility somewhere that shall remain nameless. We still need to talk about the geography of the DC universe.
Yeah, man, that still blows my mind. I want to know where these towns are in relation to one another. I need to know.
I know you asked me that question and I went off on some roller coaster talking about something else. But we'll talk about that.
That's an deleted scene.
Yeah, that's another deleted scene. So King Shark apparently was brought to Earth 1 by Zoom in the Flash. If you've been watching it, there was 52 breaches that were opened, and Zoom was sending all of these metas from Earth 2 to come kill the Flash, and King Shark was one of them. Since then, all of the breaches have been closed, yet King Shark was being held by Argus. Now, Amanda Waller, who we all know and love, runs Argus, and you will be seeing her in Suicide Squad in August at the theater. But
I don't watch Arrow, but from what I understand, she was shot. She was killed in.
She was killed in Arrow.
So how was she in Suicide Squad?
Well, the DC TV verse and the DC movie verse are not connected.
Yeah,
in
they
any
seem
way,
to be
shape,
church.
Oh, so that explains why Will Smith is a different Deadshot.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
They are not connected in any way, shape, or form.
See, I didn't know that.
In fact, a lot of people criticized Arrow Season 3 for being the weakest of the seasons. What y'all don't realize is that they were primarily it was going to be a Suicide Squad season. And DC said, yeah, we're going to do Suicide Squad at the theater, do something else. So they rewrote like episode by episode.
That episode where they were walking through Argus and you heard Harley Quinn on the other side of that... Yeah. That cell door was mind-blowing, man. That was such a mark-out moment for me.
And it's been that way, good moments, bad moments.
Oh God, yes. The first time we saw the oh gosh, help me out here. The Deathstroke mask in Arrow. The first time they revealed that, I'm like, my wife's like, what? I'm like, that is Deathstroke's mask.
And
so
now,
that was an
because
awesome
of,
moment.
and because of the popularity, his popularity of the TV show, they're now talking about him potentially making an appearance in either Suicide Squad or another movie soon. Deathstroke.
God, yes.
Yeah.
And let it be Manu Bennett.
Exactly. Now, but can they get away with doing that, having different universes?
Make it happen.
Isn't he still in jail in Texas?
No, he's got a new show now, actually.
So
on MTV of all places.
So now that Amanda Waller is dead, Layla is now in charge of Argus, and she's running things differently. You know, she's not about using metas for their powers. She's all about just running a clean prison or whatever. But King Shark has a mission. His only mission in Earth 1 is to kill Flash. So as soon as he breaks out of the Argus facility, he's heading to Central City, and the fun ensues.
Right.
So the animation of King Shark,
that whole sequence on the water was probably the best I've seen.
My God, yes. Okay, first of all, I love that he just took off on the water, and we're just like, okay, this is a thing now. The animation in that show in general, they made a great move doing the full body scan and getting that speed completely digitized, because then you'd have a guy doing the goofy running in place move, which never looks good.
It worked when we were kids.
It harkens back to the 90s series, which was okay, but I mean, for the time. But come on, this is 2016. We want to see, the Flash really being the Flash. And that was one of those moments where you felt how fast he was going. They did that slow-mo shot of King Shark, pouncing out of the water, coming to get him. I've never felt... God, and then it ends with that awesome... him doing the whirlpool and then hurling the lightning at him. I was like, my God, we're watching this on TV. This is happening.
On the CW.
Richard, since you're a stickler for comic book stories, somewhat. Do you like that they gave Flash lightning powers in the show when he doesn't have them in the comic book?
There's a lot of differences on both sides.
Sure, but giving him an extra power though,
well, why not?
But why? I mean, I think super speed alone should be his power, and that should be enough to vanquish any foe.
So you're a purist.
Well, powers, I think so. Yes.
I didn't Jay Garrick teach him how to throw the lightning bolt? Was that a Jay Garrick power?
That was an Earth 1 power, apparently, or Earth 2 power.
But but it's still, they're both powers in the show.
In a franchise with a multiverse, you're not okay with different iterations of
Well, not only
each
that,
character.
I was about to say, we're talking about the Flash, who's probably the one reason why we have a multiverse in the first place. There's so many different versions. There's so many different timelines. There's so many different whatever. It doesn't bother me. I can say that. It doesn't bother me. I'm not one of those people that says, dude, we all noticed at the very beginning when he had the red circle with the lightning bolt. Everybody noticed that, right?
In the dark red leather suit.
Yeah, in the dark red leather suit. And as you can tell, it's progressively getting toward... They knew what they were doing from the start. Now, why can't we see him throwing lightning bolts in the comics? We didn't have John Diggle before Arrow, and now he's in the comics. We didn't have Felicity Smoke, this iteration of Felicity Smoke in the comics. Now we do. It's obvious that the TV shows are
like Chloe for Smallville was made for the TV show.
Or, depending on popularity,
probably one of the only redeeming qualities of that show.
Yeah, Chloe. Well, looking at Lana was nice.
Yes,
listening to Lana not so much.
Yes, Lana was pretty.
But moving back, they gauge popularity, and nobody expected Felicity to be so popular, and now she's in the comics. So maybe we'll see him throwing lightning bolts in the comics, and then you'll be happy.
Okay.
It's just one of those things. I'm not. I'm watching a show, and not only that. Did y'all catch? You don't watch Arrow. Did y'all catch the episode?
Henry doesn't watch Arrow.
Did y'all catch the episode with Vixen? I was really impressed with how they handled the special effects on her powers too.
Yeah, that was actually. Again, that could have looked really goofy.
I mean, they did a really decent job, and now we have Vixen. We have all of these characters popping up, and it's just
like, yep, that's just a thing. We're gonna do it.
It's like, who's next?
Wentworth Miller's Captain Cold is awesome.
Yeah.
It
and,
is.
who's that big guy? Oh god, I always forget his name.
Heatwave.
Dominic Purcell.
Yeah, Dominic Purcell's Heatwave. Those two play off each other so well.
Right.
I would watch a show based on.
Yeah, it was called Prison Break.
But not Legends of Tomorrow. You know, I am not a fan of Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, you've mentioned that to me on a couple occasions.
I also said it. So look, okay, I'm not gonna say I'm not a fan, but it's the least favorite of the shows.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, if you stack them up against those two other shows, the
three other shows. For me, Arrow is just underneath Flash and Supergirl. For me, I think Supergirl has already done enough to win my goodwill. It's a lot of fun. You know, Arrow is dark and all of those things, but there's still, I mean, I still like them all evenly. It's like 99, 98, 97, and then Legends of Tomorrow is like in the 70s.
Where does Gotham fit in?
50 some, 60 some.
Yeah, I'll co-sign on that. I mean, it's again one of those shows, and I mentioned this in a previous episode, that I'll sit through because I've sat through a season already. They kind of did a few things that I do like. I love the actor playing Alfred. I feel like that's a really good portrayal of that character. I really, really loved Michael Caine's version, but this guy is not a bad, like, young, scrappy Alfred. I like that aspect. I don't like Jim Gordon. He seems like he's just making the wrong decisions constantly. He's supposed to... I guess we're watching his lead up to his, like, grizzled veteran...
at some point,
guy running the major crimes unit.
Sure.
At some point, but I mean, seeing him like really cross lines that you wouldn't expect a character of that caliber to cross. It's like, how do you redeem yourself from that? How do you like steer yourself and then put yourself up as this paragon of virtue? I mean, maybe he's never been. Maybe we read that from the character, and now they're only fleshing out that backstory now, which is why I'm reacting to it the way I do. But among the more egregious things that I didn't like was the introduction of the Fish Mooney character, the brushing aside of Maroni and Falcone, for really no good reason. That storyline's just done. I'm guessing they're going to come back into power at some point.
That's year one. That's Batman year one. Falcone.
Yeah,
and even like The Long Halloween, which is another great comic that you need to read.
This premiere episode, we saw the introduction of B.D. Wong as Hugo Strange, who looks the part and seems to be doing a hell of a job portraying him. So I'm going to give this season a chance, but I have heard that they did bring Jada Pinkett Smith back to portray Fish Mooney once more. I am not really stoked about that. I don't like the character. I never cared for her.
You sound a little bit jaded.
You see, there are a lot of people right now that really like Gotham, and Gotham airs opposite Supergirl. So I mean, we're talking totally different audiences here, because Gotham is dark and violent and gritty, and Supergirl is light and funny and just, you know, hopeful.
It's like The Devil Wears Prada.
Well, you see, it's really not, though.
It's not.
You know, a lot of people, that's the easiest or the laziest way to describe the show. It really isn't.
Well, to be fair, they took that route in all their marketing.
In the pilot. Yeah, but it's been 15 episodes since the pilot, and it's definitely worked more. I mean, what I really like about Supergirl, and they've addressed this a lot, is the fact that when Kal-El left Krypton, he was a baby. He has no concept of what Krypton was about. So even watching Man of Steel, for example, it makes a lot of sense of how much his mission meant to Zod, and how much it didn't mean anything to Kal, because he has no idea what he left. All he has is recordings and that kind of thing. But in Supergirl, it's addressed that she was in her teens. She was like 12 or 13 years old. She grew up there. And she left to protect him, and she gets caught up in the Phantom Zone. She shows back up on Earth, and he's already grown up because of this time thing. And she was raised a Kryptonian. So there is a mean streak in her. There is an aggressiveness in her. And it comes out in the show. I mean, she gets pissed a lot. And she remembers...
Super pissed.
There you go. And she remembers Krypton. And she remembers, and she has allegiances to family members that were criminals or that were Kryptonian in the way that they considered us, and the way... I mean, all of that comes across in the show. And yes, there is part of the Devil Wears Prada-esque, I guess, sort of stuff. But Cat Grant is a very great... I mean, I did not think I was going to like Calista Flockhart's character. She's a great character.
I immediately didn't. I haven't watched a single episode past the first.
She is a great, great character. I think she's a mentor of sorts for Kara. I think her sister grew on me too. I mean, there's just a lot of things that I just wasn't sure of, but it's definitely gotten better. And right now, I mean, like I said, there's some shows I watch live. There's some shows I can watch whenever I get around to them. I have to watch. I mean, I still watch Arrow live. I still watch Flash live, and I definitely watch Supergirl live.
I can't. Our CW affiliate is an SD, and I find that to be
but I gotta.
No, I can't do it.
So if people need to find their CW signal, they come to you?
Well, it's not even on DirecTV anymore down here anyway.
What's that?
It's not on DirecTV anymore.
It's not on 21 anymore?
It's only on Time Warner Cable.
Well, that's a bunch of horse shit.
Yeah. No CW shows on DirecTV anymore.
So, based on Richard's cue, we know what he likes watching and what he watches on a delay. Where would you put Constantine on your queue list there?
That one really hurts because I really enjoyed that show. That one was probably right underneath, Arrow and the Flash. Actually, maybe I would have put it beneath iZombie because I really do like.
Haven't watched it.
You really do need to check that show out, man. It's. I don't know if you ever read the Vertigo property that it's based on, but that's a good bit of writing, and the artwork's very pop art. It's very cool. I mean, Henry thought it was off-putting, I think, but I enjoyed it. It fit the subject matter. But the live-action version of it that they're putting out week to week is great. The storylines are awesome. The characters are very likable and funny. I thought it was going to be very, hokey and goofy, and it is, to be fair, but it's also really entertaining. I find myself endeared to the character. So underneath that show, I would have placed Constantine. Because I really liked, first of all, that it was an English actor playing Constantine.
Yeah.
And he looked the part, and he really had the mannerisms down. This really just gruff, broken guy who really he doesn't mind stepping on your back to get ahead, or to preserve his life. I mean, if you read Hellblazer at all, Constantine, has anyone near him is going to die. So yeah, having that show lost was a big bummer, but I expected it from that network, and seeing him in the Arrow was a real treat.
Well, on that note, I guess we're gonna just have a moment of silence for John Constantine and his show. But
according to Oliver Queen in the last episode, he's in hell right now.
In actual hell.
Yeah, and somebody said, figuratively, he goes, no, he's really in hell right now. So maybe they're still thinking about doing something else with him.
God, I hope so.
Well, I think they made reference, but I don't believe that actors.
You never know.
Well, that's true. Maybe,
I mean, they said we were never going to see the Flash and Supergirl crossover.
That's true. That's cross networks, too.
And here we go.
So
it's coming.
It took less than one season.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, I think that's about enough time to discuss our DC shows. So thank you very much. So where can we follow you?
Watching my DC shows. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on Twitter at Dicky_V.
Mike?
Follow me on Twitter at Mikey Leal. I'll be saying a bunch of horrible things on there probably.
Sure. And like and subscribe. We are on Twitter. THYD Show on Twitter. We got The Heroes You Deserve on Facebook. So if you have any comments, suggestions, hate mail towards Richard or whatever, let us know and we will read them or address them in future episodes. So again, thank you very much and see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.